I'm Sean, I'm 25. I graduated from a master's in journalism last year, and well, it's tough, like people aren't willing to give you that start, and you need experience to get a job, and where are you supposed to get that experience, how are you supposed to start? And so we end up in situations where people work for free.
Yeah, I found myself in the exact same situation. I graduated with my degree, and because I had zero experience other than my work placement from college, I found myself going to Australia for work rather than being able to find my first job here in Ireland. So I found I was actually very glad to have that job over there because it was my first kind of lab job. I'm a chemistry graduate, and I was very, very glad to get that over there.
Motivating yourself to apply for jobs and keep applying, even though most places won't even get back to you, that's a bit soul destroying. So where do you go from there?
Just not only are you not working, but you have to try and find things throughout the day to try and keep yourself going. Kind of like personally now I've started running and just kind of made more effort, more hobbies to try and keep the mind active and the body active as well, because if you keep thinking about it, you'll get yourself down.
I definitely find that's routine. That's really important when you're unemployed, but it's also quite difficult to do a lot of things to keep yourself motivated. That you don't have a lot of money to do anything. You've a lot of restrictions because you have to be available for work. You can be stuck at home a lot of the time, because in my situation where I want to build up a visual arts practice, a lot of artists need second jobs to do that, and I also lack the numbers of years of experience to get into other careers and other jobs. So it kind of leaves me in a position as someone who's unemployed where I'd get out of the house, but there's only so much of that. You can feel quite trapped.
It's amazing the way that the days and weeks just melt away when you're like that. There's no routine. It's just like, what did I do this week? Not much.
Yeah, I find that as well. After a while I get slightly cabin feverish at home, that I'll even just go outside, or even go kind of say if a friend is off from work that day, just go visit them, just try and break up the day a bit,
Yeah.
So like I was joking with friends saying, I'll buy myself a 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle there last week. I was actually contemplating it, just something different, like just to break it up, Well, personally, I've only finished my last contract in the last month or so, and I have been applying, and I have been getting really good feedback. But in the industry at the moment, I have to apply through agencies, and those agencies in turn have to get back to the employers themselves. And it's all this kind of referring as to whether I'm applicable for the interview, and then if there's a second or a third round.
I'm going to get a job. I know it. I'm entirely confident. It's just about hitting the right place at the right time, It's just a matter of keeping going and keeping motivated. Look at our circumstances. I mean, we live in a first world country. People are a bit down at the moment, but things will get better. It never stays down for long.
Ideally, I would like to stay in Ireland. I know time's changing, you might have to tweak that a little bit, but ideally I would like to stay in Ireland, close enough to family. Well, I say close enough to family within the country, but I know people who have put this insane amount of pressure on themselves. They have like the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, and I really think in this day and age it is quite unrealistic, because you're only going to line yourself up for disappointment and failure, really, because if you're in between contracts, you can't get on the mortgage, keep up their payments, and it just goes down to a spiral, and there's no point putting that undue pressure upon yourself.
To know what you want, and to stick with it. I mean, a huge problem for our generation, I think, is not knowing what we want. It's sort of
waiting for
yeah.
someone to tell us.
And I reckon part of the problem is our education system that doesn't really make us specialise. Sure, whatever, we all do the same few subjects, and it doesn't specialise early enough. Yeah. And so, and our college system doesn't really force us to make any decisions like that. It's practically free.
line of jobs bridge, I feel like it has to be long enough to make an actual impact on your resume, and I feel like it's a good thing for young people anyway to be able to get some kind of extra money or something to do, because of the amount that job seekers under 25 get is so much lower, that I feel like the more schemes, the better. As for getting people off and working, that's something that you just have to keep going at, and maybe you'll be lucky.
I had quite a bad experience with the job bridge scheme. In the end, I ended up getting nothing out of it, aside from the experience, which was great, to be fair. But as a result, I'm kind of skewed against the notion of working for free. I think a lot of companies are taking advantage, and they'll string you along with the possibility of a job, and they just know there's nothing for you.